Alright, so we've got our final normal map block out. So you can see, compared to our SplatMap up here, it's got a lot more detail in it, or it will in a second. In total there's about 40 or 50 layers here. So now that that's done, we can open up Endo2 and start to convert these into normal, or start to convert all these layers into additional detail. So I'll just do that now. Going by 2D. Just wait for this to load. There we go. Path. Sometimes Endo2 will screw up if there's a path active, like this, in the path work path. Just delete that, and it should go back. There we go. Now, it's pretty straightforward to use this. Just select a layer you want, go convert. But before we do that, there's a little house cleaning we need to do. Basically, we just need to set it up so it'll let me add additional detail to an existing normal map. So then we'll just hide that thing. We'll make a new layer, just empty layer. Tell it to convert it, and it'll create its own little group here. Just save it. Let that save. Alright, so now we've got a normal group with an adjustment color. This essentially makes it look like a normal map, and the internal normal map stuff that Endo2 uses. So basically all we need to do is unhide our normal map, drag it just above the edge brush folder, and that'll work nicely. Now, for some reason Endo2 has a problem trying to convert layers inside a folder. It tends to crash. So just be mindful of that and save often when using this. But what we're going to do is, since we already have this folder here, we're going to duplicate it, because we're going to be using that later for the SplatMap. Just rename it. I'll just call it backup. Hide that. And then we'll get our normal map stuff, or our block out, select everything in there, and move it outside of the folder. We'll just delete the folder. And now it's just a simple process of going through every layer, converting it, and setting it up accordingly. We'll just turn that on, turn on the UV, and we'll start with right-hand detail 3, which is this, I believe. Let's just check. Yep. So they're just little bolts there. So with that layer selected, just hit convert. Let it do its thing. Now we can't see it because all of these are active. We'll just hide all of them. And I'm not going to go through the entire thing. I'm just going to give you a basic overview. Alright, so got our brush in here. So there's a bunch of settings we can use to have a look at this, like the basic size, change the size of the bevel or the extrusion. I'm going to make it a groove, so it sort of indents into the normal map. And we'll anti-age it a bit. Yeah, that looks good. Now we'll unhide that layer, we'll convert that. Now you might need to do a little bit of shuffling with layers. Some things might be put underneath something like this here. So we'll just take this and move it underneath that last one. There we go. And of course we can just smooth out these corner bits a bit. Oh, wrong one. Just keep that as linear. Take that brush and give it a Gaussian. So you might not be able to see a difference in the video, but when you're actually working on it, you'll notice a difference. Another thing we want to do is change its blend mode to overlay. This will make it conform to the shape of the original normal map, so we don't get any artifacts when light is being cast over it. Just something you want to be mindful about. So that's done, and then we'll just keep on going through these layers. I think I'll do a couple more and I'll skip ahead. Now that's that. Now, to avoid problems, I'll do this layer first, which is like an underneath panel sort of thing. So I'll convert that. Set its blend mode to overlay. I'll give it a groove. It sort of gives it a nice paneling effect there. Just increase its size to make. Yeah, that looks good. And bump up the windows then. And maybe give it a half round. Yeah, that's better. And now the sort of bolts holding it in. Same process really. Good. Give that a groove. That looks better, smaller. Bit of a rounded slope. And of course you can change the slant up and down. And overlay. Cool. Now that's that part of the texture done. And just be mindful, because we have Endo2 running, we have so many layers and folders within layers. I mean, look at this. If you don't have a pretty decent computer, it's going to chug like no one's business. Although it wouldn't be a problem if this thing isn't a bloody 4K freaking map. I'd say 1 or 2K would be plenty. I just usually do this because it's how I work. Now, where's this thing? Center detail. It should be here. We're waiting for it to update. Yeah, here we go. So, I'll do that bit last. What I want is this bit. Center detail 2. Actually, let's unhide all of it. So, I'll go through this center detail bit on video, and then I'll skip ahead and show you the final normal map. Then we can start doing AO and cavity maps baked straight from it through Endo2, and then we'll work on the SplatMap, which shouldn't take too long. We'll start with center detail 2, 0. Let's do its thing. And then, actually we'll keep that sort of jutting out. Make center detail 1. Update, there we go. I have this one slanting down. Give it quite a big size, like 20 pixels. That looks alright. Also change it to outer. Yeah, that looks better. So it gives it a sort of rounded edge and a fall off. And remember to save, because if this crashes and you lose all your work, you're going to be really pissed off. Back to center detail 2. These are sort of like external panels that are bolted onto the main part, so I'll have them jutting out a bit as well. That's way too much though. Really want a subtle effect. Just something that can catch the light well. If everything's very sort of sharp and angular, it sort of loses a lot of, I'd say, appeal. Because everything's much nicer looking when it's round and smooth. So give it a half round. Change its bevel to emboss. And make it emboss stroke inner. Yeah. There we go. Bevel, that looks good. Aviator, and put its softness to about 2. That'll just round off the corners a bit. Yeah, that looks good. Center detail 3. These are these bits here. Now I want these to be very, very smooth, but sort of jut out a tiny bit. So change its size to about 52. Yeah, like that. Put the softness up to 10. So it smooths everything out. Change its bevel to, actually change its overlay. Oh, that's something I better do too. Change all the brushes to overlay. You can forget a lot of stuff in this. There we go. Save that. Finish. And even already this is probably a 500 meg file. Now, see what it looks to slant down. That actually doesn't look too bad. So that makes it a lot smoother. That does look a little better. Actually, that looks pretty good. Let's zoom out a bit when Photoshop bloody wants to. Come on. Oh, fuck you then. It's finally. And get rid of that UV thing, see how it looks. So it even needs to wait a bit just to deselect the bloody layer. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. Let's see what it looks like when it's coming out. And have a look. Bevel up. Actually, I might keep it like that. Just increase the smoothness to about 14. Yeah, that's better. Cool. And last bit here, just these little bolts. Zoom in a bit. In hindsight, I really shouldn't have made this a 4K map. Okay, so convert them. Okay, now I'll just make these groove. Get rid of maybe 3 pixel size. And give it a log. Actually, I reckon a half round. That's a little bit better. Erase that. Put up softness to 1. Cool. Okay. Now, well, that's the basic premise of how to do all this. I'm going to skip ahead to the finished product. Oh, shit. And yeah, because it's chugging so much, it doesn't know what the hell it's doing. So yeah, I'll skip ahead and we'll see you there.